Hi everyone, and welcome back to Effective Leadership Strategies in the Workplace. So today is the last session of our 3-session series on leadership competencies. And today we're going to be talking about leadership competencies as they pertain to the organization. So if you're a leader in the organization, maybe a senior manager, an executive VP, an executive senior vice president, you'll find that this really applies to what you're doing. And if you're a leader that's currently in succession planning to take on more leadership responsibilities, then this is going to apply to what you're doing and help to prepare you for that next step. So just like in the previous competency sections, today we're breaking the leadership competencies as they pertain to the organization into 4 different groupings: change management, communication, developing self, and decision making. So let's start with change management. One of the most important competencies as a leader is to be able to manage and navigate politics and influence others. I'm not talking about politics in the traditional sense of Democrats and Republicans and independents. I'm talking about the political environment that exists within every organization. It's important as a leader to be able to navigate that and to influence others. Leaders influence others to help people kind of understand their point of view, the organization's perspective, and then to help people get on board with that perspective so everyone can be working on the same boat to get to the same destination. And sometimes managing the political kind of environment in an organization is key to helping you to be an effective leader. And what does that mean exactly? It means you're speaking with people who maybe have a very strong and firm opinion about it, who may be very tenured and seasoned. You're also speaking with people who are maybe newer leaders to the organization, and maybe they have very strong opinions. And so politically, you're trying to navigate all of this criteria that goes with helping other people to come to consensus, right? You, as an effective leader, you have to get that buy-in from a large majority, if not the entire leadership team, senior leadership team in the organization, in order to move that ideal forward and put it into work. So navigating and managing the politics and influencing others is a key leadership competency for those that have leadership positions that are effective in moving the organization forward. You're also going to help set vision and strategy. You may have a very clear understanding about what the organization's vision is, what the mission is, kind of what your strategical plan is, but everybody else may not. And your role as a leader is to help to set that vision, help to clarify that vision, and then help to detail out the strategic steps that you're going to take as an organization and as the members of the organization to get to that place. It's not enough for you to assume that everybody's going to buy in and understand your vision or your strategy just because you say it. That's not enough. You have to walk the walk, you have to talk the talk. So being able to set clear vision and clear strategy, so it's the what and it's the how, is a key leadership competency. Understanding and navigating the organization, we spoke about a little bit when we talked about influencing others, but you need to understand every role in the organization. You know, even if you're in a position that's a senior manager, senior leader, it's important for you to understand the foundation of the organization that helps to keep it running. Go to the grassroots, speak to the people that really help, to make that organization's engines go. They need to understand that you are understanding and empathizing with their role, the challenges of the role, the successes they may experience, and you're not so far removed that your opinion is irrelevant, that your opinion isn't meaningful and isn't going to impact them as an employee. Championing cultural diversity. We have said over and over again that there is a clear return on investment for having a diverse and equitable and an inclusive environment and organization. You need to champion cultural diversity and cultural competence in the employees that work for you on your organizational teams. Every department, every employee, every leader needs to understand the benefits and the true value of having a culturally competent organization and culturally competent leaders. Now, with communication, you'll find that in leadership competencies, the communication piece is almost identical. You're communicating clearly, directly, authentically, transparently, honestly. It seems so simple, but when you're caught up and you're trying to navigate other people's opinions and feedback, and you're trying to influence others, and you're trying to kind of avoid the landmines that are the political influences within the organization, sometimes communication gets murky. Sometimes it gets muddled. Sometimes you shift the truth just a little bit because you're trying to win over and influence other people. Communication has to be honest. People see through that so quickly, and once you have broken that trust that comes from authentic and transparent and honest communication, it's very, very difficult to get that back unless you accept the accountability and say, you know what, I don't think I was clear. This is what I meant when I said that. Unless you go back and accept that accountability for that miscommunication or for that lack of clarity in your communication, it's going to be very difficult for you to regain that trust that's broken. When you're communicating as a leader, you're demonstrating an openness, a willingness to hear other people, and you're demonstrating empathy. When people are coming to you, with a concern, with a challenge, especially in today's social climate, it's important that you seek to listen, you seek to understand, and not to respond. It's important as a leader that you clarify how people need you in that moment. Do you need me for feedback? Do you need me for support? How can I support you? Asking that so you're clear about what your role is in that communicator and then in that communication opportunity, and then being an active listener and a responsive and empathetic responder. That's important in terms of communication as a leader. You don't need to step your foot into every situation that's happening, but you need to understand, you need to empathize, and then you need to respond in the manner in which people are needing your support. And you're fostering open dialogue. This is not a dictatorship. This is an opportunity for a culture of collaboration. When people feel that they have the opportunity to collaborate and to weigh in and to provide their feedback and input, you're going to get increased employee engagement because they feel that their opinion has been heard and considered when the leaders or the key senior leadership is making decisions about their welfare. Open, engaging communication that fosters a culture of collaboration is a key competency for leaders. Developing self is another key competency. So how do you develop yourself? When you move or you rise or you promote up to a certain position in the organization, it doesn't mean that the learning for you and the understanding for you stops. As a matter of fact, it's probably the opposite. You need to become a consummate learner. You need to learn, and seek out that knowledge so that you can be a better and more informed leader and communicator. You want to demonstrate resilience, resourcefulness, and knowledge. And that comes through ongoing workshops, ongoing professional development, ongoing training, ongoing research that's preferably scholarly and it's peer reviewed so that you can become a subject matter expert. You can become more knowledgeable about what's happening in your organization and with your people. It's not just about the content, it's about the people. It's about new ways, new strategic ways to implement the content, to provide and to increase cultural collaboration, to improve cultural competency. So you are constantly developing those skill sets and making yourself a little bit uncomfortable. You are always in school as a leader. So leaders also have to be able to demonstrate a flexible and agile mindset. We've spoken before about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, right? Growth, you understand that you can learn new concepts, you can learn new skills, you can learn new things. Well, same is true for a leadership competency of a flexible and agile mindset. You have to be willing to make that shift, to shift your thinking so that you can embrace and understand and accept differing viewpoints and perspectives than your own. But as a leader, you can't just have this rigid line that you're going to walk and expect others to follow. We're working with such a diverse workforce and such diverse organizations now, which is what we want. But that means you have to be an agile and flexible thinker and have an agile and flexible mindset so that you can incorporate all of those different perspectives and ideals and thoughts and practices into your own repertoire. That's going to make you a stronger and more effective leader for the organization and for your teams. And finally, decision making. As a leader, you have to be able to help solve problems, facilitate problem solving, and make impactful decisions. Sometimes decisions are not going to be popular. But what happens is when you're facilitating the problem solving, notice I said facilitating. It doesn't mean that you're the wizard with all of the answers to all of the problems that exist for your teams or for the organization, but you help to facilitate that problem solving through collaboration, through critical feedback, through honest feedback. And then you make an impactful decision with the information that you have. But you can't be kind of a single shooter out there. You can't be the one that holds all the ideals because they only reflect your perspective. Sometimes things are very time-based, and it's important that we turn it around quickly, and there's not room for a lot of back and forth and think tanks. But it's important for you to reach out to kind of key stakeholders, whether it's your team, whether it's your supervisor, whether it's your colleague, your collaborators, to get feedback and to have some quick discourse so that you can make an impactful decision, knowing that you've considered other perspectives and the impact that that decision is going to have on the people that work with you, for you, and in your organization. A key leadership competency is a leader who's willing to take risks. When you step into a leadership role, that's your first risk. Everything rolls uphill, right? You're taking a risk anyway by accepting that leadership role. And as a leader, you acknowledge that and you accept that. You're not complaining about, oh my gosh, this is hard. There are days that it's going to be very hard. There are days that you are stretched to your limit, that you don't want to be a leader anymore. That is natural and normal because it can be stressful. But a good leader is going to take those risks and they're going to innovate. They're going to think about risk as opportunity, and they're going to innovate from those opportunities. And also, a good leader, one who is impactful for the organization, here we go again with this A word, accepts accountability, acknowledges and embraces accountability. A leader is accountable. You're accountable for what you speak, you're accountable for what you do, you're accountable for what you write, and you're accountable for how you act. So using the combination of the competencies that we've spoken about, individual, which is self, team, and organization, helps to create a more well-rounded leader. And remember, these competencies are always evolving based on the role that you have right now and based on the organization that you work for. So you may find that there's some that you have to tweak. You may find that these are, serve as a good foundation for the role that you're currently in. But at the very minimum, it's the combination of the competencies that are going to help you to be a more effective and strategic leader in your workplace. So that sums up our series on leadership competencies for individual or self, for team, and for organization. Please join me next week. If you like what you're hearing, please share, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you. Take care.